started in 2 months, and is already full of people on the lookout for us. Especially for you." Wren winced at Bram's tone and pulled the hood of her ash-coloured cloak tighter around her head. Wren had braided her crimson hair back and smeared it with the brown clay that built up near the rivers running through the forest in order to dull the colour. It was already flaking off. It never lasted long, but her hair was one of the biggest giveaways of who she was, after all, so she persisted in coating it in the disgusting stuff as often as she could. Wren knew she should cut all her hair off, but a rebellious part of her refused to even entertain the notion. "I am the Dragon Princess. My hair is part of who I am. I refuse to remove part of me for the Verlanti royal family." "The wanted flyers," Wren murmured, wishing she had one to look at closely. "Were they issued directly from the palace, or—" "A few were from Soren, but the ones by the orphanage, brothel, and fish market were issued by your dear husband," Leaf said, "with a substantial reward offered for your capture, unarmed. Clearly he knows who to target for help and how to bribe them." Husband. The word didn't seem to capture what Arrik was. "Unarmed, and even offering money," Bram said, chewing over the words. He cast a critical glance over Wren, who forced herself not to turn away. "One wonders why he'd go to such great lengths to get you back, when it would be easier to have someone cut off your legs and drag you back." Wren didn't reply. Bram wasn't the only member of the rebellion who suspected that Wren was in cahoots with Arrik and believed she should be blamed for his actions. As if I had any sway over him at all. As if Arrik would ever have listened to me. A very small part of Wren knew this didn't quite ring true, but she ignored it. The prince was as good as dead to her. "Regardless of the flyers," she said, "we still need to infiltrate the gentlemen's club." A furtive looked to her left, then her right. Leaf and Bram followed suit, then crept down several back alleys until they reached the staff entrance to the club. Despite his distrust of her, Bram nonetheless had worked well with Wren on other such missions and respected her abilities. Wren could fight, and her time spent memorizing the passages beneath her father's castle on the Dragon Isles made her adept at sneaking around unnoticed. There was no animosity between the two of them, so long as they were working. "You remember what to do," Bram whispered, pulling out a wig from a bag along with pins. Wren hastily tugged her hood back and put on the black, long-haired wig, just as Leaf covered his own hair with a softly wavy, hazel-coloured wig. The long hair was all he needed to pass as a young woman instead of a teenage boy, along with the dress he had on, hidden by his cloak. Leaf helped her secure the wig with what seemed like way too many pins. She eyed Leaf's wig and frowned at Bram. "Why the devil do we get wigs now, but I've had to put sludge in my hair for the last several months?" Bram gave her a nasty smile. That was all she needed to know. He wanted her to be miserable, the miscreant. She answered his question through clenched teeth. "Target the Duke and his companion, Belnay," Wren recited. "Leaf targets the Duke himself, since his tastes run young." Leaf grinned viciously. "And if he thinks to touch me—" "You'll avoid bloodshed at all costs, or I swear I'll abandon you in there," Bram grunted, his dark eyes full of warning. "Now off with you. I'll enter from the front as a guest. We have an hour to gather information before we abandon the mission. Got it?" Wren and Leaf nodded. The information they needed was simple. Find out where Prince Arrik currently was and what he was doing. It was easy for Wren and Leaf to slip into the gentlemen's club as working girls. The place was loud and busy, even though the sun had barely set, with some patrons demanding 3 or 4 serving girls for them alone. Wren and Leaf smiled easily at anyone who caught their eyes, sneaking through the crowd before anyone could catch sight of them for longer than a second and recognize them from the posters. The point was to fit in, not draw attention. With these disguises, I doubt anyone would work it out. Wren picked at the pink silk of her outrageously Verlantian dress. She had grown used to their flowy, somewhat scandalous fashions over the last couple of months. She'd had to, but that didn't mean she liked them.